the last Rewards Weekly sync for this year. It's December 22nd. Things are. I was going to say that things are beginning to slow down. That is not the case, actually. A lot of things are happening, but the coming weeks will be a little bit slower, I guess. So we don't have as much on the agenda today as usual, and like I wrote in the invitation, it's partly because quite a few of the work streams are not finished, but they have come to a point where not much needs to be done until we have performed the trial quant and taken the next steps, sort of. But I have a few small, like, planning in this discussion points, and we'll do. It looks like it's going to be a show up, because basically one is here that can make. Yeah, there's Nebs. He can talk about the new backend. So about the first quant preparations and execution, Mitch is not here. Does anyone else have insight into what's happening there? And if not, the only thing I've seen is that he is actively trying to recruit more quantifiers. So if anyone sees this, and please, by all means, reach out and try to involve more, because the quantification process should ideally be like a broad community-based effort, not like a small team doing it every month or every 2 weeks. So please help us recruit.
I feel like
and
also,
when it comes to the source code,
sorry.
Yeah, please.
No, I feel like also when we get closer, it's bad to think like that, but I think last minute a lot of people will jump in, because it's hard to give a commitment with so much advance, like not knowing so much about the process. I think we'll have a lot of people when we get closer. And we already have around 30, something like that.
Okay, then. So then we're good to do the trial quant, at least, without a problem. And maybe we can take that small discussion point right here. We don't. Let me see. Matteo is not here to speak about source cred, but my proposal there was that we use the month of November as our trial quant month, because it's already finished, and then we can start preparing the data already now, because the praise data needs to be prepared a bit. We need to up my score with a few 1000%. And no, I'm just kidding. We need to add Discord ID data to the praise data. So we have built a bot that connects the Discord account information to all the praise, so that because in the new system we need more than the user handle, we also need the user ID, which is the unique identifier for each person on Discord. So we need to run through that month and add that piece of information for everyone. And sometimes people have changed their handles. We cannot fetch them based on the handle, and we have to find them manually. So there, importing old praise will be sort of a bit of a manual process for each time we're doing it. We also need to clean up the data a bit. So some people's praise, I believe Juanca's, has not been recorded. Is that correct, Juanca?
Yeah, I think so. Like for some months, I don't receive the green check when I praise.
Yep. So that is a work that needs to be done for each time when we import praise to look through the praise channel and add anything that has been missing also. So that is why I propose that we use November as our trial month, because then I can ask Graal, who has done this excellent import script, to start setting up the November praise data already. So it's ready to go after New Year. Does anyone oppose this? The alternative would be to use December instead. We talked about doing 1 month to start with as a trial quant, but then we will have much shorter time to clean that. So unless someone has thinks that is a bad idea, I'll take a note that we'll that November it is the November date, and that goes for SourceCred also, of course. Let's move on to SourceCred meeting tracker bot. Viva V is not here. I know that he has exams coming up in school next week, etc. So he has been really busy, and also big parts of the SourceCred crew has taken a sort of a sabbatical, or taking like one month off between, I think, 15th of December to 15th of January. And Viva V, he needs some input from the SourceCred team to be able to finish the meeting tracker bot. So chances are that not so much will happen before more of the SourceCred team is back behind the keyboard, actually. We'll see. He is going to try to figure it out anyway, and maybe he can access, get some information from Haz, who seems to know a lot about the inner workings of SourceCred. And when it comes to, so the next item, the SourceCred pollen bot status is the same as last week. We haven't had time to make to do this work session where we just configure the last few things. But that is still on the agenda, of course. I believe Matteo has been also super busy with the Giveth launch, Give Economy launch. So I haven't wanted to press him on that. But we'll schedule that hopefully for the first week of the first week of January, so that is up and running. And praise backend and front end. Starting with backend, we have sort of good news that we're back online again. With we have rebooted the development of the backend, and we have made some progress. And Nebs, would you like to say a few words about the backend progress?
Yeah, I can. And my camera does not work for some reason, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so we set up the project. We have now, I think, all the models, basic validation. Christopher started working on authentication, and I'm working right now on mock data. So we have some data to work with when we are developing API endpoints. So I think we are on a good track with this backend.
Yeah, you could say that we have moved from the this will be slightly technical, but we have moved from the Java-based backend using this Spring framework that is quite big and rather complex and perfectly suited for a lot of things, and most likely for our system as well. But it's a big and complex system, and now we have switched to a technical platform that is not necessarily simpler, but it's sort of less complex and allows us to move forward more quickly. So we have high hopes that we maybe won't meet our target of being ready for the first week of January. Nebs, we haven't talked about this. I think that would be we have the MVP ready by then. But in the worlds, maybe the week after. That means almost a month from now. We'll see. We have to get back on that still for the first quant, etc. And I also believe that many people will be missing the first week of January. So I think that perhaps it's not a good idea to plan big events, big happenings there. But in an ideal world, we would be using the first week of January to set up the SourceCred pollen bot. Maybe we can plan for doing this SourceCred parameters session where we tweak the parameters. So that is set up. And then the second week of January, perhaps we can do start quantifying. But in a week, we will know more before New Year, because then we will have had more time to develop more. But it feels great that we are on having good traction again, and it's not. This means that I can contribute to the code base more easily, and also Casale, who worked with us in the early beginning of Praise development. He has come back and has a school break, and he's interested in contributing. So he is actually working on the new Praise bot as we speak. I sent us some screen dumps. So he has done some work on that already.
And
yeah, please.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know if I'm breaking out or if you're breaking out, but can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you. Is there anything we can help on that end? Like, I know it was hard to find people. Now transferring to these notebooks is going to be easier, or is there anything we can do to help with the front end, back end process?
I think that the front end is like 70-80% done already. It just needs it needs to be connected to a backend that is functioning, and I don't think throwing more people onto this would be a solution, even if we could find someone. Nebs, do you think? Because it's not a big thing. That's the thing.
Yeah, I don't think because, like you said,
when we have the meeting with Casale, we had it was not super easy to define clearly separated items to work on, because it's so I'm doing the authentication layer, Casale is doing the bot, and Nebs is doing the database and the rest of the stuff, basically. So I'm not sure we would be able to find like a separate track for someone else to work on just now. What do you think, Nebs?
Yeah, I also think that, and I don't think it makes sense someone to work on rest of the front end, for example, before we finish the back end.
Yeah.
So,
and there's also a startup cost, startup time for a new person. So let's hope that we. I think we're going to pull it off. We're just
and I will be here between Christmas and New Year, so
yeah.
I'll try my best.
Nice. Yeah, I guess here. Again, do you have anything to say about allocation? The RAD dashboard, you demoed it last week, and maybe perhaps you haven't continued working on it. It feels like it's more for the trial quant, isn't it? Let's see if he returns with audio. No, he is still here. See if he wrote me something.
Nuggin, are you there? You called in Nuggin, right?
Yeah, that's very, very silent. So let's move on and see if Nuggin reappears. And yeah, that is. I think we have touched on the planning parts of this. So summing it up again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, finally. Okay, great. Sorry. Yeah, no. It's actually I wanted to say that there's not much to say because there hasn't been big progress since last week. But I think once we are going with the first quant, there'll be more stuff to update with the first rounds of feedback. So that was the main point. Sorry to keep you up.
That was my guess as well. And this is all good that we don't have that much to say, because that means we are quite ready to move on to next steps. So basically, we are mostly actually waiting for the praise team to deliver. And yeah. Yeah, so summing up the planning, we won't be ready by the first week in January. In an ideal world, we might be ready for second week. So let's spend the first week of January, if we can, to plan a source cred parameter session and tweak, make sure that Pollenbot is ready, and then hope that we can do the first quant the second week. And what else did I have to say? I had one more. Did I have one more thing on the about? Yeah, it was about the November data that we have already set. So it looks like, unless someone would like to bring something up, that this might be a quite short meeting. Please.
Yeah, I just want.
Do you want to bring something up?
Yeah, just it's not. We can't do much about it, but just to say that the Prime DAO community. Sorry, I got it. I was on a flight tonight. My brain is very foggy, but the Prime DAO community wants to use the praise system. So I'm starting to talk with Gamma, and they told me they talked to you too, Nagin. So we can start to.
Yes, sure. Cool. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we can start to, as we get the whole system together, we can also test with a community that is external from us, and it's also willing to give feedback to the process and get involved from now on.
I think it's a very exciting opportunity because, see people that isn't inside the system and doesn't know how it works already, and I think we get a lot of useful info there.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's awesome. How big community are they?
They're quite big. Prime DAO, they have 2 tokens. Actually, they just launched the token now. They've been around more or less the same time as the TC. I'm not sure how big is their community. I have to look, but is quite big.
Yeah, I think it's
You got muted in the middle of the way.
Yeah, in mid sentence.
Oh, okay. It wasn't that important anyway.
Yeah, no, it's super exciting, and hope that once we have done launched the MVP and done the trial quantity, we can move quite quickly to delivering version 1, which is the planned our planned version that other communities can install and use themselves. So that means I also don't hope that they want to be running this in the beginning of January themselves. So do we have anything else? How is there? Are there any like interesting insights from the rewards assemblage, the working groups there? I never saw their presentations. Have they done presentations? So the interesting stuff that Aloysius shared with us, is there more stuff?
Yeah,
I don't mean that we can bring it up now, but it would be interesting to do in coming weekly meetings to hear more about their insights.
Yeah, definitely. There was a lot of really good insights. I took as an assignment for me to kind of filter it out, because the challenging thing of the research group now is that we were using the data from like pre-debates data, because the data that we have now and the improvements that we're having now, we haven't quantified them, so we couldn't have like the full picture of it. So they were kind of in a limbo of like, oh, there's all of these problems that we're seeing, but then a lot of those problems we are addressing already. But there was some things that they were bringing up that we didn't take so much into consideration. I think the most interesting for me that 2 teams at least touched on and went more in depth was, how is the reward system bringing alignment to our culture? So they were trying to find cultural metrics to measure everything going on. And one of the things they suggested was like, can the things that are rewarded be measured by Ostrom's principles metrics? And how would that work? So that was an interesting point. We have to dissect a little bit more and understand. Probably that could come up as a metric in the final analytics. Yeah, and there was a lot of other graphics too that were really exciting. I'll organize something there and maybe present on the first. Our next session is going to be January, first week of January.
Yeah, I guess we will cancel next week. I will be working next Wednesday, but many people will be away, and so the think next week we'll cancel. No, it would be fantastic to hear more about the insights that came up during that process. Mitch, do you have anything you want to get off your heart? We said that you were recruiting more quantifiers, basically.
Yeah, that's it. I just need more quantifiers. So we need like another dozen, I think, to get to our target.
Yep.
Mitch, I don't know if you saw, but Alan TV and John Jonas are part of the animation team. And since they are doing the animated tutorial eventually, I feel that the process could help them a lot getting a script and just a better idea of what the process is.
Uh-huh.
And they are here. Yeah.
Well, we'd all love to get a better idea of the process. So we'll need a working UI to get a better idea, I think.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with that. It's like quantifiers are there, documents are more or less done.
Yep.
We just yeah.
No, we concluded that it's the same for the RAD dashboard, and that work streams are mostly done, awaiting the first trial, the trial quant basically. So it's on me and Nebs and Casale now to deliver the new backend and the working price system.
Yeah, so everybody are waiting for us.
No pressure. No pressure. Actually, we have reached the end of the agenda. So I'm ready to cut this meeting short, unless we have other topics to talk about.
What? Sorry, I was curious. Did you find devs to redo this? The backend?
Yeah, we have gone through that. But I can make a short recap that we have switched technical platform. Nebs is taking the lead on this new setup. I'm able to contribute because it's a setup I know, and also Casale, Chui's contact has reappeared.
Okay, cool.
Do something fun during his vacation, which means programming. So he will be working on the bot. I will be doing it first. I will do the authentication layer, and we made some progress there. And Nebs will be doing foundations and like the core stuff. And we expect to be able to move forward quite quickly, or we have had quite a bit of progress already. And since this new setup is much simpler than the old one, and all the business logic and everything is already mapped out, we hope to be able to move forward quickly. And we don't see that we need more people just now, because that would make the whole process just more difficult to manage. And in the end, it's not a super big thing to develop, so we're good, basically. Okay. So thank you for tonight, everyone. Let's make this a short meeting, and let's get programming.
Yeah, cool.
See y'all.
All right.
Take care.